After that, Faith spent the rest of the year helping Elfie and Alfie learn how to be good by doing good deeds and to not mess about. First, she gave them a pep talk about making their beds. "Making your bed is very important," said Faith. But the twins weren't interested and didn't see the point until Faith explained that these sheets and covers need to be washed every day so they can have a nice crispy bed to sleep on. "It makes the bed a lot more cozier too," she said. "Making our bed is very boring," said Elfie. Faith explained that making it can be boring, but there is a perfect way to get it done better. "If you sing a tidying up song, it will be more fun," she said. Elfie and Alfie had a little think about it and decided to give it a try. After that, their beds were made. "That didn't take long at all," said Alfie. "And this can be your morning routine," said Faith. Next, she taught the twins how to brush their teeth properly rather than squirt it at each other. "Brushing your teeth will help them stay healthy and prevent any diseases," said Faith. Then she explained that the squirting will have to stop so it won't get so messy. "And then we won't have to clean up and waste more time," said Alfie. Faith smiled and knew that was exactly right. Then Faith taught them how important it is to eat their fruit and vegetables. "Fruit and veg makes your body grow strong and gives you energy," she said. "Sweets and chocolates give us energy," said Elfie. Faith explained that they may do, but they don't last long, whereas fruit and vegetables can if they try it. And lastly, Faith helped them wrap up Christmas presents and make special toys. "Lovely, I'm very impressed," Faith said happily. Elfie and Alfie couldn't be more pleased. They realised that being good makes you a better person. And it was all thanks to Faith. "Thank you, Faith," said Elfie. "Yes, thank you so much, Faith," said Alfie. But there was one more thing Faith wanted to show Elfie and Alfie. "I have one more thing I'd like to show you," she said. So she got the twins to touch the star on her wand. Faith took Elfie and Alfie to a children's hospital and met a couple of children who were sick. "Why are we here?" Elfie asked, feeling worried. "Every year, thousands of children have to go to hospital, and sometimes they spend Christmas in here too," said Faith. Elfie and Alfie were surprised. Usually Christmas time is an exciting time for everyone, but not if you have to stay in bed at a hospital. "The sad thing is, most of them don't get to spend Christmas at home," said Faith. The twins felt sad for them. Because they were good children, they still couldn't have a happy Christmas at home. "Can't magic make them feel better?" asked Alfie. "I'm afraid not," said Faith. Elfie and Alfie sighed in disbelief and couldn't take much more of the sadness. "I think I want to go home now," said Elfie. "Okay," said Faith. Then she waved her wand. "I hope you learnt a very good lesson," said Faith. Elfie and Alfie couldn't talk. "Is there something wrong?" she asked. The twins nodded their heads, but kept quiet. Faith had to go back to the North Star, so she said goodbye to them, and off she went. Elfie and Alfie spent a few days in their room, feeling bad for the sick children. They wanted to do something to make it better, but they didn't know what to do. Worst of all, if they did something if they thought was right, they'd get into trouble again. "I better go and get my Elfie doll," Elfie said. As she did, Elfie remembered all the toys she and Alfie had for a long time. "Alfie, come look at this!" she cried. So he did, and he couldn't believe his eyes. "Our old toys!" he said excitedly. "I haven't seen my doll in years!" cried Elfie. Alfie had forgotten about his train set and his football. Elfie began to have an idea that was slowly coming towards her mind. But she wasn't sure if this would get them to even more trouble. What's your idea, Elfie? Asked Alfie. Christmas is coming up fast, said Elfie. Alfie nodded his head. Then Elfie explained that there will be lots of boys and girls spending Christmas in the hospital they visited. Why don't we give our old toys to those kids? She thought. Alfie couldn't help but resist a smile and thought that would be a great idea. But Elfie wasn't too sure. Maybe we should ask Santa or maybe Faith, said Elfie. So they tried calling for Faith, but there was no answer. Maybe she's busy, said Elfie. Just then, Santa came by and told them that Faith has gone away for a while. And he also came to apologise about the incident. I should have listened, but Twinkle did play on it, he said sadly. Elfie and Alfie smiled and forgave him. They felt glad that they were finally believed. And they decided to ask Santa a question. Would it be a good thing to get rid of our old toys and give them to the children in the hospital? Asked Alfie. Santa had a little think, and then he smiled. What a very thoughtful idea, he cried. Elfie and Alfie were glad. They knew that it would be a good idea, and even Santa was impressed. So Elfie and Alfie borrowed Santa's old sack and put all their toys inside. Soon, all the other elves decided to do the same thing. Then they began to see a softer side in Elfie and Alfie. Soon it was all full, and Santa couldn't be more pleased. I have never had any elves be that generous before, he happily said. Elfie and Alfie smiled. They knew that Elfie's idea was the brilliant one, and best of all, it didn't get them in trouble. Come to my home later tonight, said Santa. Elfie and Alfie wanted to know why, but Santa said nothing. Later, Elfie and Alfie went to Santa's home as he had some news. I have never thought I'd be so proud of what you two have done today, said Santa. Elfie and Alfie smiled and felt very happy. Then Santa explained that Christmas is next week and all the children in the hospital are going to wake up with a big smile on their face. And because Santa was so proud of them, he had a little surprise. First, he gave Elfie and Alfie a gold star and were very pleased to finally have one. I would love to invite you two on my sleigh and deliver the presents to the hospital, said Santa. Elfie and Alfie were very delighted. They never knew that being good will give you a special treat. Soon it was Christmas Eve and Santa and the elves got ready to ride on his sleigh. Most of the other elves came by to see them off. I am proud to have two very good elves on my sleigh, said Santa. The elves cheered for joy and waved Santa and the elves off. Eventually, they made it to the hospital, and Elfie and Alfie felt very glad to give their old toys away. This girl can have my old doll, said Elfie. This young child has always wanted a computer, said Santa. It belonged to Alfie, and he was very pleased to give it away for someone who needs it more. Then Alfie gave a little boy his old football for Christmas. Merry Christmas, and I promise you'll soon be home, said Alfie. Then Elfie gave away her snow globe. This snow globe is very precious, she said. Soon it was all done, and Santa had to deliver the rest of his presents and had to do it alone. How are we going to get home? Asked Elfie. Elfie and Alfie couldn't believe their eyes. They were very pleased to see Faith again. I can, she said. Elfie and Alfie were so happy to see Faith again and take them home, they couldn't resist to have a hug. Your idea of giving away your toys to sick children is the most kindest thing I've ever seen, she said. It was all thanks to my conscience, said Elfie. Faith was very glad, and so it was time for them to go back to the North Pole. Merry Christmas, Elfie and Alfie, and thank you, Santa said happily. As Faith flew the twins home, she overheard Santa saying Merry Christmas. Santa wishes you a Merry Christmas, she happily said. Elfie and Alfie looked down and waved. Merry Christmas, Santa, said Elfie. Merry Christmas, Santa, said Alfie. From that moment on, the twins made a promise that they'll no longer be naughty or mischievous again. Still to this Christmas, they still keep their promise. Merry Christmas, Elfie and Alfie, said Faith. Merry Christmas, Faith, and to all a good night, Elfie and Alfie said together.